Imagine a world where time is not a uniform current. A world where it ebbs and flows around individuals. For some, a lifetime could be a fleeting sunrise. They'd live their lives in a single day, a whirlwind of experiences compressed into mere hours. Others might witness empires rise and crumble. They could feel centuries etched upon their faces, each wrinkle a testament to epochs gone by. This is the reality of echoes of eternity. Time is not a river, but an ocean. Each soul navigates its currents at their own pace. Some are destined for vast, uncharted waters. Others are confined to tranquil lagoons. But beneath the surface, a delicate balance holds. The very fabric of existence in this world is woven with the threads of time. It is a precious, finite resource. Yet it is also a burden, a blessing, and a curse, all intertwined. In this world, an ancient order exists. They are the Timekeepers, entrusted with the monumental task of maintaining equilibrium. They are the silent guardians of the temporal flow, ensuring that no single life disrupts the grand tapestry of time. They are cloaked in mystery, their methods arcane, and their motives often inscrutable. The Timekeepers are not rulers, but custodians. They do not dictate the pace of life, but ensure its harmonious symphony. Their existence is a testament to the delicate balance that underpins this world. They are both revered and feared, their pronouncements carrying the weight of ages. They are the keepers of an ancient knowledge. They understand the intricate dance of moments, the ebb and flow of existence. Their duty is to protect the delicate balance of time, a responsibility they carry with solemn dedication. Within this world, a kaleidoscope of cultures has blossomed. Each has adapted to its own unique temporal rhythm. Some embrace the fleeting beauty of a day-long life. They live with a vibrancy and urgency that is both exhilarating and tragic. Others, blessed with centuries, cultivate wisdom and art over generations. Their civilizations are steeped in tradition and a deep understanding of the past. The interplay between these cultures is a source of both wonder and conflict. Misunderstandings arise from the chasm of differing lifespans. What one culture values as a lifetime, another might dismiss as a fleeting moment. Yet, there is beauty in this diversity. It is a testament to the resilience of life, its ability to adapt and thrive even within the most unusual circumstances. It is a world of contrasts, where the ephemeral and the eternal waltz hand in hand. Nestled among rolling hills and whispering meadows lay the village of Sylvandale. Life here moved at the gentle pace of seasons. Time flowed like the nearby river, steady and predictable. It was in this tranquil haven that Aki lived. She was a girl on the cusp of womanhood, her laughter as bright as the summer sun. But a shadow lingered over her heart. Aki was different. She was a time-bound, marked from birth with a finite lifespan of 16 summers. Her time was a dwindling candle, destined to flicker and fade before most had even begun to truly live. The villagers treated her with a mixture of pity and apprehension. They saw her as both a blessing and a tragedy, a reminder of time's capricious nature. Her 16th birthday loomed like a storm cloud. Every sunrise was a bittersweet symphony. Every shared laugh, a poignant echo of what would soon be gone.
Yet I refuse to be defined by my fate. I cling to hope, my spirit as resilient as the wildflowers that dot the meadows.
One cool spring morning, Aki discovered a secret. It was a truth that would irrevocably alter the course of her life.
While playing with my childhood friend, I noticed something peculiar. He seemed drained, his movements sluggish.
As she reached out to touch him, a jolt surged through her. His fatigue seemed to flow into her, leaving him revitalized, but leaving Aki inexplicably weary. It was a frightening and exhilarating sensation, a tangible exchange of vitality.
The village elders confirmed my fears. I possessed a rare and dangerous ability. I could synchronize my time with others.
With a touch, she could borrow moments, days, even years from those around her. It was a power both wondrous and terrifying, a fleeting gift that came at a heavy price. Each stolen moment chipped away at her own dwindling time. It was a double-edged sword, a responsibility that weighed heavily on her young shoulders. The eternal forest bordered Sylvandale. It was a place shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors. The villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, their voices laced with fear and reverence.
They believed that time flowed differently within its ancient borders, that its depths held secrets best left undisturbed.
The Timekeepers had declared it forbidden, a place where the delicate balance of time was fragile and easily disrupted. Aki, however, felt an inexplicable pull towards the forest. It was as if the whispers of ancient trees called to her, promising answers to questions she hadn't dared to ask. It represented both a sanctuary and a threat, a place where she might find solace from her burden, but also where she might unleash a power she barely understood.
One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, I made a decision. I would defy the warnings and venture into the forbidden forest.
Driven by a longing for answers and a flicker of rebellion, she stepped across the threshold, the whispers of the forest welcoming her into its embrace. The eternal forest embraced Aki with an ethereal silence. The air hung heavy with the scent of moss and ancient magic. Sunlight dripped through the dense canopy, painting the forest floor in a mosaic of light and shadow. The trees, gnarled and ancient, seemed to watch her with silent wisdom, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers.
I moved cautiously, my heart pounding in my chest. I had never been anywhere so still, so alive with unseen energy. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent shivers down my spine. I felt both exhilarated and afraid, as if I had stepped into a forgotten dream.
Then she saw him, a lone figure, sitting at the base of a giant oak, its roots spread out like the veins of a slumbering giant. He was a boy, no older than her, with hair as dark as the forest shadows and eyes that glittered like moonlight on water. He seemed out of place, yet strangely at home, as if he were a part of the forest itself. The boy didn't seem surprised to see her. He looked up as she approached, a gentle smile gracing his lips. His eyes, old beyond his years, held a depth of knowledge that both intrigued and unnerved Aki.
I'm Shiro. Please sit with me.
As they spoke, Aki felt a strange connection with Shiro. It was as if she had known him for a lifetime, though they had only just met.
This forest, I've seen its secrets, its cycles of growth and decay, for centuries.
He told her stories of forgotten times, of civilizations that had risen and fallen like the tide. With each story, Aki felt a profound sense of wonder and melancholy.
There were bustling cities, star-crossed lovers, and epic battles fought beneath a sky ablaze with comets.
It was as if he carried the memories of 1,000 lives within him, each one a thread in the grand tapestry of time. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Shiro's stories took on a darker tone.
There is a growing imbalance in the flow of time, a creeping darkness that threatens to consume all of existence.
He spoke of the Time Devourer, a malevolent entity that feasted on the life force of others, leaving behind withered husks and shattered timelines.
The Time Devourer's hunger is insatiable, its power growing with each stolen moment.
He spoke of villages plagued by accelerated aging, where children grew old overnight, and the elderly crumbled to dust in the blink of an eye. He described cities frozen in time, their inhabitants trapped in an endless loop, their lives drained of meaning and purpose.
This is horrible.
Aki listened with growing horror, her heart heavy with a nameless dread. She had felt the ebb and flow of time her entire life, the constant reminder of her own mortality. But the thought of a creature that could manipulate and devour time itself filled her with a primal fear, a chilling premonition that her destiny was irrevocably intertwined with this ancient evil. As darkness enveloped the forest, bathing the trees in an ethereal silver glow, Shiro turned to Aki, his eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and resolve.
Your ability, the power to synchronize time, is the key to defeating the Time Devourer. You alone can restore balance to the temporal flow, to heal the wounds inflicted upon the fabric of existence.
But Shiro's revelation came with a heavy price.
The more you use your powers, the more you accelerate your own demise. Every moment you steal from the Time Devourer, every life you save, will chip away at your own dwindling existence.
It was a choice that no one should have to make, a sacrifice that weighed heavily on her young shoulders.
I will do it. I will fight for our world, for the memories of those lost and the future of those yet to come.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, casting its silvery light upon their faces, Aki made her decision. With a heavy heart and unwavering resolve, she vowed to stand against the Time Devourer, her own fleeting existence a flickering candle in the face of an all-consuming darkness. Leaving the familiar embrace of the eternal forest, Aki and Shiro embarked on a perilous journey. Their path lay across the chronal tides, a turbulent expanse where the currents of time flowed in unpredictable and often dangerous patterns. It was a journey fraught with peril, a constant race against the relentless hunger of the Time Devourer.
Aki, watch the currents closely. You need to learn to read the ripples and eddies that mark the passage of time here.
Shiro, with his centuries of experience, served as her guide. He navigated the shifting currents of time with a practiced ease, his eyes scanning the horizon for signs of temporal anomalies. He taught Aki to read the subtle cues, the ripples and eddies that mark the passage of time in this strange and wondrous realm.
It's so overwhelming, Shiro. How do you stay so calm?
Centuries of practice, Aki, and a lot of mistakes along the way.
Their journey took them through forgotten ruins and bustling cities, each one a testament to the relentless march of time. They witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of stars, and the slow, inevitable death of suns. They encountered strange and wondrous creatures, some benevolent, others driven mad by the chaotic flow of time. One such encounter led them to the City of Whispered Moments, a place where time moved at a glacial pace. The inhabitants, their lives stretching out over millennia, had long forgotten the value of a single day. They moved with a languid grace, their voices hushed whispers that echoed through the timeless streets.
This place, it's so still. It feels like time has almost stopped.
Aki, accustomed to the rapid pulse of her own fleeting existence, found herself both captivated and unnerved by the city's stillness. The air hung heavy with the weight of ages, the silence broken only by the soft chime of water clocks and the rustle of silk robes.
The City of Whispered Moments. Here, time stretches on and on, almost forever.
The city's ruler, a wizened old woman with eyes that glittered like ancient jewels, welcomed them with a courtesy born of endless years. She listened intently as Shiro spoke of the Time Devourer, her expression a mask of ageless wisdom and a deep, abiding sorrow. The old woman, her name lost to the mists of time, confirmed Shiro's grim tale. She had witnessed the Time Devourer's hunger firsthand, had seen her own people succumb to its insatiable appetite. She spoke of a darkness that spread like a creeping blight, consuming time and leaving behind a desolate wasteland of shattered moments.
Time is not a river to be dammed or diverted. It is a tide that flows in and out, shaping all that it touches. To interfere is to invite catastrophe.
Her words struck a chord deep within Aki's heart. She had felt the weight of stolen time, the guilt that gnawed at her conscience with every borrowed moment. But the old woman's warning went deeper, hinting at a cosmic scale of consequences that she was only beginning to grasp.
I understand, but if I don't try to stop the Time Devourer, what will happen to everyone?
The old woman's eyes, filled with a sorrow that spanned millennia, met Aki's with a silent, profound understanding. The burden was heavy, but the choice was hers to make. Their journey continued. Each sunrise brought the chilling realization that the Timekeepers were closing in. They moved like phantoms through the chronal tides. One moment, the air was still. The next, it crackled with unseen energy, a silent harbinger of their presence.
I can feel their eyes on me, cold and calculating, judging my every move. I'm a threat to the order they have sworn to protect, a dangerous anomaly wielding a power they barely understand.
Shiro, ever watchful, urged them onward. He knew that capture by the Timekeepers would mean certain imprisonment for Aki, perhaps even worse. They would seek to contain her power, to extinguish the flame that burned so brightly within her.
We can't stop now, Aki. If they catch us, they'll do everything to snuff out your light. We have to keep moving.
The Timekeepers were not a monolithic entity. Among their ranks, whispers of dissent began to surface. Some believed Aki's power was an abomination, a cancer to be excised before it could upset the balance of the cosmos. Others saw a glimmer of hope in her unique ability, a possible weapon against the encroaching darkness of the Time Devourer.
We can't just destroy her. What if her power is the key to defeating the Time Devourer?
Her power is too unpredictable. It's a risk we cannot afford to take.
This internal conflict created ripples in the chronal tides. A sense of uncertainty pervaded their pursuit, marked by moments of hesitation, of conflicting energies. It was a dangerous game of cat and mouse. The hunters themselves were divided, their resolve faltering.
This division among them, it gives us a sliver of hope. We need to use this time to understand your powers more fully, Aki. Learn to control the chaotic energy within you, to harness it as both a shield and a weapon.
In a rare moment of respite, they stumbled upon an oasis. It was a hidden sanctuary, untouched by the ravages of the Time Devourer or the chilling presence of the Timekeepers. Time seemed to flow differently here, languid and serene, a forgotten melody from a simpler era.
It's so peaceful here. I almost forgot what it felt like to be free.
For a brief, precious interlude, they allowed themselves to relax. Aki laughed freely for the first time in what felt like an eternity. She swam in the cool, refreshing water, the weight of the world momentarily forgotten.
It's good to see you smile, Aki, even if it's just for a moment.
Shiro watched over her, a rare smile gracing his lips. He allowed himself a fleeting moment of peace, of hope. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the oasis, the weight of their situation returned. They couldn't stay here forever. The Time Devourer's hunger continued to grow, its darkness spreading across the chronal tides.
Before we depart, I have something for you.
Shiro presented Aki with a gift, a simple silver amulet etched with intricate symbols. He fastened it around her neck, his touch gentle.
This will help you control your powers, but more importantly, it will remind you of who you are and what you're fighting for.
Aki touched the cool metal against her skin, a surge of warmth spreading through her. It was more than just an amulet. It was a symbol of their bond, a testament to the journey they shared, and a silent promise to face the darkness together, no matter the cost. The chronal tides churned. Aki and Shiro found themselves at the edge of a temporal anomaly unlike any they had encountered. It was a labyrinth of fractured moments, shattered timelines, and echoing memories. The air vibrated with a chaotic energy, a symphony of whispers and screams from countless lives lived and lost. The Timekeepers had driven them here, into the jaws of madness. This was a place of raw, untamed time, where the rules of existence bent and broke. Even Shiro, with his millennia of experience, seemed unnerved. His eyes, usually so full of wisdom, flickered with uncertainty.
Be on your guard, Aki. This place can shatter even the strongest of wills. Hold on to your purpose. Cling to the memory of who you are.
Aki nodded, her hand instinctively going to the silver amulet at her throat. Shiro's words, the weight of his gaze, grounded her. She would not falter, not here, not now. The fate of countless lives hung in the balance, and she was determined to tip the scales towards hope. Deeper, they ventured into the labyrinth. Each step was a gamble, a leap of faith into the unknown. The fractured timelines swirled around them, offering glimpses of forgotten memories, alternate realities, and lives left unlived. Aki saw visions of her own life, branching out in infinite directions, each choice leading to a different destiny. One vision, however, pierced through the chaos. It was a memory, vivid and agonizingly familiar, yet utterly foreign. She saw Shiro, his youthful face etched with despair, standing before a shadowy figure of immense power. It was the Time Devourer, its form shifting and writhing, a vortex of darkness and consuming hunger. The memory shifted. Aki watched in horror as the Time Devourer reached out, not to consume Shiro, but to embrace him. Their forms merged, light and shadow intertwining, until only the monstrous entity remained. The memory faded, leaving Aki reeling, her heart pounding in her chest.
What was that? She demanded, her eyes searching his, desperate for an explanation that would unravel the knot of confusion and fear twisting in her gut.
Shiro didn't speak. His silence spoke volumes. He closed his eyes, a shudder running through him. When he finally met her gaze, his eyes held a depth of sorrow that chilled Aki to her core.
The Time Devourer, he began, his voice a raspy whisper. It was never a separate entity. It is me, a part of me.
He explained that in his youth, desperate to escape the confines of his own mortality, he had stumbled upon a forbidden ritual, a way to cheat death and achieve immortality. But the ritual had gone terribly wrong. Instead of granting him eternal life, it had fractured his soul, creating the Time Devourer, a monstrous manifestation of his deepest desires and darkest fears. For centuries, Shiro had borne the burden of his mistake. He had watched as the Time Devourer, his other half, feasted on the timelines, growing stronger with each stolen moment. The guilt and self-loathing had nearly consumed him, driving him to the edge of madness.
I thought I could control it, Shiro confessed, his voice ragged with despair. I believed I could use its power for good, but I was a fool. The Time Devourer is a force of nature, a consequence of my own arrogance. It cannot be controlled. It can only be destroyed.
Aki stared at him, her heart aching with a sorrow she had never known. She saw the weight of ages etched upon his face, the torment in his eyes. He had carried this burden for so long, alone and filled with despair. And yet, despite the darkness that consumed him, he had never given up hope. He had found her, the one person who might be able to right his wrong, even if it meant his own destruction. Shiro's confession echoed in the fractured labyrinth. Aki felt the weight of his words, the crushing truth of his existence. He was both victim and monster, a prisoner in a cage of his own making. Yet even now, facing his own annihilation, he clung to hope. Hope that Aki could succeed where he had failed.
The silver amulet pulsed against her skin, a steady rhythm against the chaotic energy of the labyrinth. It was a reminder of her purpose, her own fleeting life, a stark contrast to the eternity Shiro had sought and the timeless hunger of the entity he had become.
Time, she realized, was not just a linear progression of moments. It was a tapestry, woven from the threads of countless lives, choices, and consequences. Shiro had sought to unravel that tapestry, to possess it for himself. The Timekeepers, in their rigid adherence to order, had sought to freeze it, to deny the natural flow of existence.
Aki, however, felt the pulse of time in her veins. She understood its ebb and flow, its capacity for both creation and destruction. And in that moment of clarity, she knew what she had to do.
Standing before the monstrous form of the Time Devourer, Aki closed her eyes. She could feel Shiro's presence within the entity, his essence a flickering flame amidst a storm of darkness. Reaching deep within herself, she embraced the power of the silver amulet, its energy flowing through her, amplifying her connection to the temporal currents swirling around them.
Shiro, I understand your pain. I know the burden you carry, but you are not alone, and neither am I.
The Time Devourer roared, its form contorting as if fighting against her influence. But Aki held firm, her resolve unwavering. She would not let Shiro face this alone, not when she had the power to help him find peace, to heal the wound he had inflicted upon time itself.
With a surge of energy, Aki unleashed the full potential of her ability. She didn't seek to control time, nor to destroy the Time Devourer. Instead, she embraced the entity, merging her essence with Shiro's, becoming a conduit between the chaos and the order, the darkness and the light.
The fractured labyrinth shattered, collapsing in on itself as the boundaries of time blurred and reformed. The chronal tides surged and receded, their chaotic currents settling into a familiar rhythm. When the dust settled, only Aki and Shiro remained, their forms shimmering, translucent, as if caught between moments.
Thank you. You gave me back my humanity. You gave me peace.
Aki smiled back, tears streaming down her face, her heart aching with a bittersweet joy. She knew this was goodbye. She could feel her own time ebbing away, the price of her sacrifice. But she had no regrets. She had made her choice, and in that choice, She had found a freedom that transcended the limitations of her mortal existence. With a final, breathtaking pulse of energy, the remnants of the Time Devourer dissipated, transforming into a cascade of shimmering particles that spread out across the chronal tides. Each particle a memory, a possibility, a testament to the lives that had been touched by Shiro's sacrifice and Aki's compassion. Shiro, now mortal and free from the curse he had carried for centuries, stood alone in the restored tranquility of the chronal tides. He felt the weight of Aki's sacrifice, the echo of her laughter, the warmth of her presence lingering in the air around him. He would never forget her, the girl who had held infinity in her hands and chosen to embrace the fleeting beauty of a life lived with purpose and compassion. Turning his back on the swirling currents of time, Shiro returned to the eternal forest. In the very spot where he had first met Aki, he planted a single silver leaf, imbued with the last vestiges of the Time Devourer's energy. As he watched, the leaf took root, growing rapidly into a magnificent tree with shimmering golden leaves. It was a symbol of Aki's sacrifice, a testament to the enduring power of hope, and a reminder that even in a world where time flowed differently for everyone, the echoes of our choices resonated through eternity.